You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you consciously and conscientiously have chosen to tune into, and you will turn into as well, tune into the joy of living with your humble host, Barry Shore, known as the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. It's the ambassador of joy because that's what joy does for your life. And you're going to experience that. One of the most remarkable women in the world. That's right. So buckle up, get ready, because it's a big wow. Wonderful, amazing woman named Danelle. We'll be right with her in just a few minutes. Right now, Jill, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that's here and listening, because what you've done is you've brought us over the 500,000 mark. That's right. By the time we bring on Danelle, there'll be over 500,000 people listening around the world. And that's all because of you. Because I urge you, and you do this, you're always urging your family and friends to join the podcast and share this with 5 people. That's it, 5. Now, you want to share with 50 or 100, that's up to you. But at least 5 people. That way we can touch millions of people around the planet with, of course, the great message. And the reason you tuned in because, we talk about the 3 fundamentals of life. And when you use these 3 fundamentals, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Now, the 3 fundamentals, of course, are, number 1, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens. Okay, good number 2, you go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. Lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the 3rd fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example. Right now, this is being carried around the world, over the internet. Ask anybody, what does www stand for? And invariably, they say it has to do with the internet. And factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? And of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Louis Armstrong Satchmo for enabling What a Wonderful World to go viral. Not just touch tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. And whenever you hear the opening bars of this great song, What a Wonderful World, what do you do with it? Well, you can't help it. You smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you could have internalized, utilized, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I got to tell you, I am honored, I'm humbled, I'm privileged to be able to speak to people on the internet and in person. Recently, I spoke to a group of 1,127 people, and I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and talking about miracles. And I have some people raising their hands saying, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours already, I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. You have food to eat, you have a place to sleep, you have family and friends, you have water to drink. Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simplest proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or you're listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, live life exuberantly. Let me tell you a quick story before we bring on amazing Danelle. It's about me. Imagine, if you can, I'm standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from my neck down. It's called being a quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moved. And it was not from an automobile accident, wasn't a spinal injury. It was a rare disease which took over my body and caused me to be completely paralyzed. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't move. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, my hips, and my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. Can't walk up a stair by myself. Can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. One word. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. Oh, I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about it. Smile, smile. Sounds the same. Why not? I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. I'm an 8-year-old. What was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Rethinking is what we call a shift in perspective. Now, you got to be careful with that F. I've been working with people for more than 4.5 decades, and I can tell you 97.2% of all the people I start working with drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to be careful with your Fs. You want to shift your perspective just a little bit, and then you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important, wonderful words in your life. And these are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, how you choose to respond in any given situation will determine the path of your life and the trajectory. Now, before we bring on amazing Danelle Delgado, double D as we say, I want to warn everybody that I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it for the shock value when it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, play, pray, free, gift, swim, and the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, that's right. F-U, capital N, capital N. Now, some people right away say, Barry Shore. Fun's only spelled with 3 letters, not in our world. The world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends, want you to point your finger, twinkle in your eye, smile on your face, whatever it stands for, and point your finger and say, F you, everybody. But remember to add right away capital N, capital N. So where'd you get that? I listened to Barry Shore. He wants to teach the world to F you. You got their attention. Now you can share what you're going to learn from Danelle. It's amazing. Now, before we bring on amazing Danelle, I just want to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. Because when you do, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 2 words are thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. I can't think of anybody in the world that I want to introduce you to is more kind. And kind stands for keep inspiring noble deeds than wonderful, amazing, fabulous Danelle Delgado. Danelle, please say hello to 501,722 people around the world.
Hello, everyone. I cannot wait to be with you. I'm already fired up from you. Oh my gosh, Barry, I'm ready to go.
Okay, well, she is the essence of go. G-O. Great opportunity is what happens whenever you listen to Danelle. So Danelle, if I started telling you everything that she's done, it would take the rest of the show. I'm just going to mention 3 little data points. Number 1, she is, we call it, she's a mom. That's the most important thing about her. But she's not just a mom, she's a millionaire mom maker. How do you like that? And she's been featured in Forbes, North Shore, Success magazines, and lots of other places. She is an expert in human development and the ability for you to scale what you do, which is to make an impact for yourself and other people. So without any further ado, wonderful Danelle, first of all, welcome to the show. I want to jump right in and talk to you about what you've discovered and what you've uncovered and what you're sharing with the world in your fabulous book, and it's just one of them, I Choose Joy. That's the name, that's the title, I Choose Joy. Now you know why Danelle's on the show. So let's talk about the book and let's go in depth. what the heck is I Choose Joy all about, and why did you write it?
Yeah, what a great question. I think it all stems, right? We all do something of action because something happens inside of us, not just externally, but something happens inside of us. Like you said, a shift happened. I followed all the rules as a crazy youngster, right? I went to school, I got a job, I got married, I had kids, I had the whole thing lined up perfectly. And then
And then
and then life happens, surprises, things I never thought would ever happen in a million years. And I had my 3 kids. My twins were 2. My oldest was 3. I was sitting in an apartment that friends rented for me that I had 30 days to figure out how I was going to pay for, alone with my kids, going through all kinds of challenges, and just knew I had to figure something out. At that time, I was like learning sales and trying to earn enough money to even provide for us. And I was completely lost. And I found out without any plan, I was going to just stop and lose and be scared for the rest of my life. And it was like, I remember, looking in the mirror, having problems with my health and my family and everybody betting against me when I used to be the person everyone would bet on. Right? Everyone thought she's going somewhere. She's going to do something. She's amazing. She stands out. Like, you just can't quiet her in a room. And my entire life was silenced. And so as I sat there wondering how I was going to earn, what I was going to do, how I was ever going to have enough, I started looking at what I could do. And every single day, I was faced, I had at this moment, I'll just tell you the real story. Barry, let's get into the real story. I was called into the doctor's office. When they call you, it's usually a surprise. And walked in, had my 3 kids with me, not knowing it was going to be a cancer appointment. And I got up and left with them. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't hear this right now. I don't know what to do with this.
I don't have time for cancer right now.
You must be wrong, or I'm going to ignore it, and I'm sure it will go away.
Right.
And so I left, and I Googled, I researched. I was so afraid I was going to die. All of these thoughts went through my head, and I started researching and figuring out, people live, people do these things. Okay, here's what I got to do. And I started making plans. And it's where I really went from thinking to facting, right? Feeling to facting. And so I went to the facts, and I just started making a plan. And so as I did this, I went very quickly from working and healing myself to healing my financial status to healing how I was going to parent as a single mom. And all these things started working out. So the whole world was writing me questions. How'd you do it? Single mom, it was so hard. You were dying. You were losing everything. What happened? And I couldn't answer all of the emails. I couldn't answer all of the DMs. And I said, well, it's just 4 steps. And the 4 steps became the book.
Okay. So this is so delicious, so wonderful. I love you, Danelle. Let's do the following. I want to make sure that everybody's listening. And again, we have hundreds of thousands of people around the world leaning in. I urge everybody, don't take notes. Don't write anything down. Just listen. Feel the experience. Let it be all around you. The reason we have this and it's recorded is so you can go back a second time and listen at your pace. Pause and do things, take notes and such. And then I urge you, listen a third time and you really get something from it. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that this podcast, The Joy of Living, is not about Danelle, wonderful being that she is. It's not about Barry Shore, fabulous fellow that he is. It's about you, Y-O-U. And the essence of the word joy. Would you like to hear a great acronym for joy, Danelle?
Yes.
Joy stands for Journey of You. That's what we're talking about today. You live in joy. What's joy? Journey of you. Whatever the journey is, do you realize with the words I'm about to say that cancer became the great benefit for Danelle? You hear this? That's what I'm unpacking from what you said. It shook her so much that no matter what was going on, she started doing. And when you start doing and take action, the healing happens. And she discovered a treasure. Now, as we say in the real world, if you discover a treasure, can you dig it? Because if you don't, if the treasure is there, oftentimes you have to dig into whatever it is to receive the treasure. So now we're going to unlock the treasure chest. And Danelle is going to share with us what she calls the 4 Gs. Am I correct?
Yes, that's
So
it.
again, don't write them down. I beg of you, just listen. You can go back again and you can write it down. Right now, just listen to the 4 Gs and let's bring them into our lives one by one and begin to feel the power that Danelle is enabling us to have, not her, us. So,
It's
Danelle,
beautiful. Yeah, it's exactly right. When I first started responding to messages, I started trying to inspire people with the G's, right? Here's what I'm doing. I'm doing these 4 Gs every single day and do that. And what happened was I was like, wait, I'm just going to do this and you do it with me and let's grow together. Then there was a whole tribe of people going, well, I can either choose cancer, I can choose sadness, I can choose divorce, I can choose everybody thinking I'm a disaster, or I can choose joy and I can write it down every day. And the journey of me became, you have 2 choices. I choose this or I choose that. And I think throughout my entire life, I learned that my greatest pain was underachieving my capacity. And when I lived my capacity, that was healing. That was joy. It erased anything. And so this is how it started. Found out I had cancer, went home, wrote down 10 things I was grateful for. I actually wrote 100, but in the book.
okay, let's say number one.
First,
Listen what she did. And it's really critical. I'm going to be very precise here. Danelle wrote down, not just 10, she wrote down 100, let's use 10. She took a pen and a paper, I presume.
yep.
And I'm urging everybody, even though we live in the digital age, pen and paper beats computer. In this particular situation, the tactile ability for you to transmit with a writing instrument onto a piece of paper will be so much more beneficial to you. Am I correct on that, Danelle?
100%. 100%. I've done it since the beginning of time. I still use yellow notepads to write all my notes. There is power in the written word for how you have to think it, how you have to do it, and how you look at it as your words. You know, it's you. Nobody else can transcribe your exact handwriting, your everything. It's the greatest commitment you could ever make. Yeah.
So what she did is she went home and she wrote down, we're going to use 10, but she did 100 because she understood that gratitude is the foundational aspect of living life in joy daily. So gratitude, the G word, there is no greater gratitude. Give an example, not just one. Can you give 3 or 4 examples of what it is that you do? Because I presume you do this every day now.
Every day.
Every day. Okay. You hear what she said? Every day. In other words, okay, I have cancer. I'll write it down now and now forget. No, the ability to put pen to paper every single day and write what you have gratitude for. It
Right.
could be that you got out of bed. Hello, that's Barry Shore. I got out of bed. I couldn't do that for years. I opened my eyes and moved. Ah! People don't, you know. Okay.
Right. I think it started out fairly vague and simple. You know, I was just trying to get myself in a mind of positivity and growth. It's the only time I've ever done anything good. And I can't help others if I'm in a bad space. Can't be grateful and hateful at the same time. So I knew I had to lean in that direction. Right. So at first it was, you know, I'm grateful I'm alive. My children are right here. I get to influence them. I get today, right? It was very simple and practical. It grew into me thanking the things that were hardest for me, the people that were hardest to love. I started writing 10 things a day that I was grateful for them so that I would only have grateful feelings for them and I could move on. Because I learned that anything that interrupted my thought of positivity or kindness interrupted every win I was trying to get. Just couldn't do it. Right?
Whoa, this is so wonderful, Danelle. By the way, she said grateful, not grapefruit.
Yes. Grapefruit was after. No. Yeah. So
and as she said beautifully, if you're writing down things you're grateful for, and especially, not even, I'm saying, especially people who are challenging in your life and what you're grateful for them. And if you interrupt that with a non-grateful or a negative thought, it interrupts the whole thing. It's like a splice in the wire. It's a short circuit. So you want to keep the circuit growing. So when you exercise this muscle of writing gratitude only, guess what happens? You become the Danelle Delgado, or for males, the Arnold Schwarzenegger of gratitude. But you really don't want to be anybody else other than you. You see, that's part of the joy of it, right? When you discover you and you start writing down gratitude stuff and it begins to flow, all of a sudden you can't even sit still. You have to get out of your chair and jump around the house naked and shout, yay! Yeah. Okay, I don't have to be naked, but
yeah. Yeah, imagine life though, where no one has the ability to take joy from you, happiness, excitement, hope, right? No one has that power if you can be grateful, right? It just can't be stolen.
Okay, no one has that power. Now, on this high note, I don't want to even have Danelle gone for a moment. We have sponsors who we have that love the show, and they make it possible for you. And we wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. So we're going to have just a couple-minute break. We'll be back with amazing Danelle Delgado. I choose joy. Right after this brief message. Don't go away.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless. Any business leader who has stood in front of potential investors can tell you, creating a vivid, compelling vision of the future can be the difference between bankruptcy and billions. If you can move people with words, you can practically will things into existence. Something that seems impossible can be made to seem inevitable. But not with bullet points, with a well-crafted and well-told story. I spent 30 years in advertising, creating stories for giant brands, universities, and governments, and changing people's hearts and minds. And over those years, I accumulated a treasure chest of insights about how to entertain and inspire and move people. And I think I can teach you. Can you think of a tool more powerful than human speech? See how your value changes when you start to master the oldest human art form.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good looking, so always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. Her name is Danelle Delgado, and she not only wrote the book, I Choose Joy, she lives it, and she shares and teaches with people all around the world what she calls the 4 Gs. First G is gratitude, the ability not to think in gratitude, which is great, and to speak in gratitude, which is great, and act in gratitude, the ability to articulate on paper with a pen, yeah, you can use a pencil, what it is you are grateful for, not grapefruit, grateful for. So that's G number 1, the gratitude. Do you have 3 other Gs?
I do. And they're equally as important, but I think if we start with the first one right, we get the rest right. So that's the really important part. So the second G is growth. It's growth. It's growing every single day. I learned that our minds, my mind in particular, could run away with me. If it got started on a certain tangent, it could go all the distance. And what I had to do is make sure every day I learned for 30 minutes to 1 hour. If it was waking up and listening to a podcast, listening to the Ambassador of Joy, listening to an audio book, listening to something that was helping my brain know the direction to go. And then I would pull one note from that listening about, hey, this is something I learned I'm going to apply today, right? And I just kept note of it in this journal. While by the day, I was able to start looking for ways to make that come to fruition. I was actively pursuing growth rather than letting my mind go back, choose easier, negative, or distracted ways, or lack anything. If it was started in the right direction, it would continue that way. And then at the end of the year, I actually just reviewed this year's 2024 gratitude journal, I Choose Joy, and I reread what I learned. I'm like, I could write a book out of just the growth section, out of my journal, things I was working to apply and how they grew and took on each other. I think if we're learning every single day, nothing is out of our hands. It's when we stop learning that we start living in pain or lack or can't.
Growth is the expansion of the consciousness, of your ability to go beyond what you perceived as self. And what happens is, as you just articulated so wonderfully, Danelle, what we call the law of attraction kicks in. Now, law, when people hear law, they think of, oh, police, the thing spinning, and that's constriction. The world that Danelle and I and everybody listening, because you're in our world, we're all together in this, the world that we inhabit is called law, meaning love awakens wisdom. When love awakens wisdom, then when you wrote down that item that you want to grow in, it must be attracted to you. It cannot be otherwise. That's
Exactly.
what happens. You are the magnet. You're attracting. If it says, I want to be able to grow, and there's 3 major areas we talk about on the podcast regularly, and they are relationship with people, and especially with oneself, relationship with finances, and relationship with health. Those are the 3 major factors in life. And when you are growing, it doesn't matter the size, but it's better to be small, actually, and to let it nurture and grow, as you said. And then it will happen. It must. It's a law of the universe, right?
100%. It's been amazing how people have come by and they're like, are you just lucky? Do you have this? And I'm like, no, I focus on going after it, learning it, and it lands in my path and I take it, right? That's what it is.
Yes, that's called living with the other G, gusto. By
That's
the way,
right.
okay, so we have gratitude, we have growth.
Yes.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is goals. And I have a unique way in which I do this in the book, which you can explain it. However, here's what I learned. People, I just love people, just so you know,
Wait a minute, Danelle, I never would have suspected that.
I know, right? Coming from where I did, you might question. However, the greatest things in my life have come about through human beings. And I have had the most remarkable human beings attracted to me. And I believe it is because of how I attack my goals, how purpose-filled, exactly like you said. I live on purpose. If it's not on purpose, it's not happening in my life, right? Like that's it. But I was so focused because I was sick, I was divorced, everyone had quit on me, that I couldn't think far in advance. It was like, I'm going to win the day. I'm going to win the week. I'm going to win the month. I'm going to win this next 90 days. That's as far as I could ever think. And what happened is I said, here's what I'm going to do. Here's who it takes. Here's why, here's what I'm going to sacrifice, what I won't sacrifice. Here's the result. And when I'm done, I'm going to celebrate what I have done so that my brain wants to go back and work again. And that's how I teach people. I think people forget to celebrate life. But for me, I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to get. We're going to have a good time. And so it was, go hit the goal. And I started hitting these goals and people started paying attention. How are you doing this? You're so young. You're so female. You're so quiet. You're so, right? Like you didn't have any skills. How did you?
This is wonderful because people were putting on Danelle constricting gear.
Mm-hmm.
There's another G. And she was breaking through them. She was Wonder Woman without saying, I'm Wonder Woman. She was just doing what she's doing she was focused on purpose. Everybody hear this?
Yeah.
When you're focused on purpose, on your goals, and again, in areas that you determine, you cannot fail. It's impossible.
Yeah. I think, it 100% is. And I think knowing that everybody thought I was going to fail was the greatest gift to me. because I started learning, like all I wanted when I started this journey, when I was at the very bottom in an apartment with nothing, right? A tent, the kids thought we could play. It's all I could afford. We had no furniture. We had nothing. I was like, I just want my life to matter. No matter how long it is, I want it to matter, and it doesn't. And I have to change, right? And so as I went out, I learned that people will do life and business with those who increase their odds of winning, and they won't do life and business with anyone else. And so I was like, I have to just learn to go win. Danelle, go win the day. Danelle, set a goal, go win the month. Go win the next 90 days. And these winning people started being attracted to me, and they said, there's something to you. There's something to you. How can we help? And I was like, why would you help me? They're like, look at you win. Look at you fighting for this. And a little bit of fight attracted people who saved my life, right? I went from just wanting to matter to the world bringing me people that really massively mattered in the world. And then together we got to matter greater. And then I worked my way all the way up to the top people in the world who I only had seen in magazines and movies. And I had one of them ask me one day after I'd achieved some really big goals. And he said, so you said in the beginning you just wanted to matter. I just have a question. All these goals that you hit, you help people around the world hit these goals, right? He said, so I have a question. Do you matter? And is that still the goal? And I said, I absolutely matter. But I think my existence was to help other people know how much they matter, how much their win today matters, right? I just want everybody to know how significantly their life moving forward, everything can change, you know? And that was the goals category for me. I did what I could right then, immediately. And I still only set 90-day goals, right? It's helped me achieve 5-year plans in 90 days. You know, it's helped me achieve 1-year goals in a month. You know, it changes your perspective when you look specifically at how you can move the needle, and when you eliminate all the things that would distract you from doing it. And that's how I set that third G up.
So let's unpack a few things here. As I mentioned at the beginning of the introduction, Danelle is a mad woman, right? Because what does MAD stand for? Make a difference. You're a mad woman. Yeah. And she understands that the essence of win, if you're not in this world and you're not here to win, then you will not be able to make a difference. And every human being needs that, not just once. It's a need of the human condition. Am I correct on that?
Yes, 100%. That's where everything lights on fire for you. That's the greatest joy you'll ever
right.
feel.
And WIN stands for wonder inspires naturally. When you're living your life in wonder, then you inspire others naturally. That's the beauty of what happens in life.
Yeah.
So
100%.
This process of gratitude, of growth, leads to the next G, which is?
Yep. So gratitude, growth, that leads us to those goals. And the last one, which became most important, it wasn't actually in the first rendition of the book. It was in the second, because I think the bigger I won, the farther I went, the more I learned. And this G is what really saved my life. This was healing at depth and released every joy that I was ever holding back. And this G is grace. Forgiveness that is undeserved. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It just has to do with me. And some days I just write down my name. I didn't do all I was capable of. I have to let it go. There is no need to discipline myself into poor me and ruin the next day too. So I had to let it go. Some days, there's always people in the world who are doing their life and they can't see around what they have. So they're going to hurt you. People are going to hurt us. People are going to hurt each other. They're going to hurt themselves. It's going to happen. You're always going to have someone to forgive. But what I learned is that if we hold on to those things, if we harbor resentment, hate, frustration with anyone, we're never going anywhere. And if you just let it go, right? I used to have like a 24-hour rule where I could pout for 24 hours, be mad, and then I had to let it go. And I thought that was healthy. then I was like, I wasted all night. This is so dumb. And then it became like a 24-minute rule, then a 24-second rule. And then I was like, well, stop my foot and get over it. Write their name down, move on, and go have a great life. And I think, you know, it always talks about the world comes to steal and destroy and all of these things. And I was like, well, it's just not having me. So I'm going to let it go in 5 seconds and I'm going to go be great. And you know what, my grandpa always told me exactly how you started this podcast. I was actually a little bit moved and got teary when you opened it. But he always used to wake me up. He had a significant impact in my life, and he would wake me up when I was little and say, get up, kid. Not everybody made it today. You better get after it. And that's how I feel every day I wake up after grace. Like there's nothing worth my moment, my day, my lifetime, when I can go work hard, have fun, and make a difference. There's nothing else in the world that should hold me back. And so when I learned to let things go quickly, I sure started winning faster.
I want everybody to, again, please make sure you didn't write any of this down. You just listened, you felt it. We begin with gratitude. We move forward into growth. We use goals to set purpose so that we don't get distracted. Distraction is one of the most powerful forces in the world today. It's called social media. I call it personally anti-social media. It is designed to distract. That is its main function. Now, you can choose to say, I want to watch X, like you said. You want to watch the Joy of Living podcast or listen to it. Those are choices as opposed to scrolling and just letting things happen. So when you begin with gratitude and you move into growth and you set your goals and they are purposeful, and then you're allowing yourself to live with grace, you move from what we call 2 to 4. And I don't mean numerals. When people think that things are happening to them, there's a certain resistance in life, right?
Right.
When you understand that everything that is happening for you,
Right.
for your benefit, from 2, T-O, to 4, F-O-R. Now you live like Danelle Delgado, but you don't want to be Danelle Delgado. You don't want to be Barry Shaw. You want to be you. This is about you. You being the best you, because you're the best you. You make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And the world needs you. The world needs Danelle. The world needs Barry Shaw. We're needed because you matter, like you said.
Yeah. It's crazy to think how many adults I have met that are still harboring words said when they were a child, and it keeps them from living their great life. I can't tell you how many 80, 90-year-olds that I have sat and had conversations with who were like, I think you just saved my life. And why couldn't you have come sooner? And I was like, well, I guess I'm right on time for you, right? Or there's teenagers that I work with that are holding on to something, and we can help them write grace and let that go every single day. The youth version of this is coming out. My kids wrote it of the 4 Gs. And because we wanted to overcome this for youth as well, right? Theirs is called I'm Going Places. Mine was I choose joy. I choose joy. How can I get through this? And the kids wanted other kids to remember I'm going places. That's why I'm choosing gratitude today. That's why I'm letting this go. That's why I'm writing this goal and I'm working out harder than other kids my age, And I think if we could just heal the wounds of the world and letting it go a little bit every single day, nobody meant to hurt you anyway. It's what was true to them at that moment. Right now, the goal is you can let it go so that you can live totally unencumbered of anything other than what's inside your heart. Like there's dreams in there. I've never met a soul who didn't know something else that they wanted to do. And I'm like, that's not there as a joke. That's meant to be what you're going to do next, right now, next. Right. And that's what we just want the world to be able to do. Those were the 4 Gs that set me free. And I still do it every single day, every day.
So I want to make mention here of something that touches me when I think about Danelle and our discussion today. And it's something that I saw regarding the book. And I made note of it for myself. See, there's a lot of information in the on the internet and in the world, and let's be blunt: information is positive or negative. You have to learn how to choose and sift through and make sure that you're choosing the right. As you mentioned, you're going to go for growth. So that's choosing the right information. Some people say, "Well, I need inspiration." Well, you know what inspiration is all about. You can listen to Barry Shore and Danelle, and this is fabulous. I love it. It's wonderful. It's like Chinese food. A couple hours later, oh, I need more. I need more. Really, what this is about, what Danelle is about, what she's sharing with us today. And SHARE is a great acronym. It stands for Spreading Happiness and Rejuvenating Energy. That's who you are. Spreading happiness, rejuvenating energy. It's the T word, transformation. That's what people want. They want transformation. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, 100%. That they're aching for it every day.
Okay, so let's talk about you, Danelle.
Yeah.
You were working with gratitude. You were writing down every single day. You practiced first, you did 100, and you kept making sure that at least 10 every day. And with this practice, you became grateful. And you were growing. You learned something new every day, every single day. It wasn't, I think I'll take a week off. We don't take a week off from life.
No.
Life is to be lived. And you set your goals, and the goals became bigger and bigger and bigger. And the funny thing about goals, the bigger they got, the more real they became.
That's right. That's right. We start too small, for sure.
Right. Now, when did grace touch you?
As a co-parent. I think we're meaning-making machines, right? We need to make meaning. We need a diagnosis. We need someone to explain things or blame things or something. And I think the greatest gift I saw as raising kids in two households, and kind of the ultimate overseeing patience came through. I knew that I was never going to raise amazing children who lived these things as much as I did, unless they were lived to the ultimate ounce of my challenges.
Okay,
right?
Wait a minute. On that cliffhanger, we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back with more wonderful Danelle Delgado. We're going to talk more about grace right after this brief message. In a couple of minutes. Don't go away.
Hello, skincare connoisseurs. If you think you have tried everything in skincare, you are going to love what I am about to tell you. I'm pharmacist Benjamin I. Fuchs. I'm a dermatology pharmacist, and what I've discovered in my compounding pharmacy after decades of working with patients with skin traumas and skin diseases is the missing link in skincare is topical essential nutrition. And because of this missing link, we're not maximizing the potential of topical skincare. We're leaving skin beauty and skin health on the table. And that's why I formulated my Truth Treatments. Listen, the skin's an organ. It needs and wants and craves nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, and plant-derived minerals, and now it can get them in super high concentrations in my Truth Treatments. Originally formulated for dermatologists and their patients, now they're available to you. Check them out today at truthtreatments.com, and I know you are going to love the truth.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe good-looking, so I was looking for and finding the good. We found good and abundant. Her name is Danelle Delgado, and the key right now is called Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. I can attest that co-parenting is probably, in today's environment, especially in Western world, but in today's environment, the greatest challenge that most people face. I'm honored and humbled to tell you that my wife and I are married 47 years.
Amazing.
It's fraught with all kinds of stuff, everything from being paralyzed for years. And so anything that good comes out of it is because of her, not me.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, let's be blunt, marriage is like that. Co-parenting, I see my son married a wonderful woman, has two beautiful sons. One is 7.5, the other is 5, and they were just with us for a few days. And unfortunately, a year and a half ago, they got divorced. And I see how co-parenting is a challenge. Not a challenge. It will make you the best you possible.
Absolutely.
If you can live in grace.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny. There's this version of us that we see, and then there's this version underlying that we don't want to see. And anytime you're challenged on something daily, until you work through that, you don't know how great you really are. Right. And that was me working through it every single day, going, I can't continue to have this energy wipe me out every day. I can't. Right. And it was my commitment to never say one bad word about the co-parent, never disagree, never, right? Never, like zero tolerance policy. Do you know how much self-control that takes? Because it's easy on a whim to be frustrated, say something to a girlfriend, a friend, a whatever. But it's the same way you should treat your spouse. You should treat your ex-spouse. It's exactly the same. There should never be a negative word. There should never, like, we share human beings, and that grace portion. And I have it a lot better than most people as well. And some of it's very harsh and hard, and I understand that, but still it doesn't change the human being that we should be. And it was not a lesson for me and him. It was a lesson for me. It was a lesson for me in self-control, in true kindness, in true love of my children, what I was capable of growing and becoming and doing. And once I did that, it was so easy to let go of any frustration.
And liberating.
So liberating. And then I could do it with anyone. You pick the one in your life that's like the most challenging, then I could do it with my family, right? And people, who were very close to me, and maybe there was some problems in their business, anything, for any human being, to know that no one and their bad day or bad moment has anything over who you actually are, your ability to live it at all times, most freeing thing I have ever done in my life. And you see it eat people alive, right? I work with all these CEOs and all of these big places who are making big decisions, and the weight of the world's on their shoulder. And I always have to jump in and be like, man, seems like that guy who bugs you probably shouldn't be one of those things on your shoulder. What a silly thing to have there. And they're like, how do you get rid of it? This is a thing from forever. And, we're competitors. And I was like, awesome. You should learn to love them and go run, and so it's a key sticking point. You will know how good of a human you can be, how great of a life, when you really can release everything that everyone else is going through and be kind to everyone at all moments, at all time.
Danelle, I thought of and I wrote down an acronym for your name during the break.
Oh,
would you like to hear it?
I would.
Okay. DANELLE. Here we go. Dynamic, aware, nurturing, elucidating, loving life enthusiastically.
Oh, that is probably one of the greatest descriptions ever.
It's you.
Thank you.
I only could write down who you are.
Thank you. It's you know what's funny, Barry, to look at where I came from a very short time ago, right? It's like you blink and a decade goes by, right? My kids that were 2, 2, and 3 are now 16, 16, and just turned 18, right? So you look at how fast that timeline goes. And I look at how fast I went from lost and losing and sad and no solutions, even in my being, I thought. Yet I was this human. I just had to become it. And it took me just 4 things a day, consistently every single day, to find the greatest version of myself that unlocked joy, no matter if I had cancer, if I was winning or losing, if I was in a battle or in a climb. It didn't matter. That joy was who I am at all times. And I think that's the most important message, right? I wasn't just trying to save myself. All these people were looking at me, how to co-parent, how to give grace, how do you do it? How did you overcome? How do you believe, right? I had a parent the other day write me and say, they found out their daughter had leukemia, and I was just heartbroken. And she said, but you know what? I had immediate gratitude and joy because I knew if you made it, we could make it. We're fighting, we're winning. And I go, it was all worth it for that moment right there. For people to know what's possible, I will be loud with my weird ideas. I will be loud with my sunshine and rainbows, and I will be loud so that they realize the world is loud the other direction. I choose this one, and it works, and it wins, and it's unforgettable.
Unforgettable. That's who you are. Danelle, I'm actually loath to say the words I'm about to say. Our time together is coming to a close. I have 3 quick questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Absolutely. I'm inspired. I'm all energized. I think you did all the work today.
Woo! Number 2, Danelle Delgado, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
Oh. It's an incredible question. And I believe to have lived so great that every human that I haven't come into contact with, that hears me, that knows my name, my children, everyone will understand that to go be great is their destiny. To go be great is their only path. To go be great is the key to their greatest joy, right? Live the 4 Gs. And I promise your path will be made very clear for you.
Live the 4 Gs and the 5th G will emerge. You'll be great.
That's right.
You need the 4 to get to the 5th.
That's right.
Okay, and now Danelle, may I give you a hug? This is question number 3. May I give you a hug in front of 503,927 people around the world?
Yes.
Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Ready?
Yes.
Heartfelt, unlimited gratitude.
Oh,
Heartfelt, unlimited gratitude. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3.
The best. The best.
And of course, you're listening to The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy, and our amazing guest, Danelle Delgado. You know that on this show, you tuned in consciously and conscientiously because you care the most in the entire world about you. And that's great, because when you are the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And we discussed the 3 fundamentals here. Number 1, life. Your life has purpose. You matter. Number 2, go mad. MAD stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. Number 3, unlock the power in the sequence of everyday words and terms, and you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthy. Remember, WWW, what a wonderful world, right? Smile, seeing miracles in life every day, as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in. Listen to Danelle. She chose to live in joy and gratitude and growth and goals and accept grace and be great. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny, determines your trajectory in life. Use 4-letter words. Now, of course, the 4-letter words we use are positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant world. Love, life, hope, play, pray, free, give, swim, and tell the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. Point your finger at people after the show and tell them F you. Add capital N, right? And say, what are you talking about? He's like, listen to Barry Shore. He had Danelle Delgado. And we talked about the 4 Gs, and I'm great. And yes, and you can do it. And now all of this is built on 2 words. Use these 2 words 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life, and you will be great because you make a difference in the world. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. And a blessing from Danelle and Barry. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad, go make a difference. Danelle, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.